You thought that cereal was harmless, that orange juice was a vitamin boost. But what if these healthy breakfast habits were quietly draining your energy, stealing your strength, and weakening your muscles day after day? After 60, your body becomes more sensitive to food. What you eat in the first hour of the day doesn't just feed your stomach. It shapes your energy, your focus, and your future strength. This is not about skipping breakfast. It's about choosing one that heals. 4. Breakfast foods. Seniors should avoid sugary cereals, a sweet start that ends in fatigue. It's easy, it's quick, and it tastes like childhood. For many seniors, sugary cereal is the comfort of routine, a fast bowl, a sweet spoonful, a quiet moment to start the day. But inside that quiet ritual, your body may already be paying a price. Let's talk about what happens after the first bite. These cereals, bright boxes, familiar names, are often loaded with refined sugars. Some have up to 20 grams of sugar per serving, even before you add milk. That's more sugar than a donut, and far less fiber or protein to slow it down. So, what does your body do? It reacts fast. Blood sugar spikes. Insulin floods in. Energy surges for a moment, then crashes. For seniors, this roller coaster is harder to recover from. Insulin sensitivity naturally declines with age, and without enough protein or healthy fat, the body starts breaking down its own muscle to stabilize energy. That's not just hunger, that's muscle loss, that's fatigue, that's your legs feeling heavier by 10 a.m. Let me tell you about Harry Montgomery. He's 76, a retired engineer from Grand Rapids. Every morning he reached for cereal, thought it was light, simple, safe. But over time, Harry started skipping his walks. His knees ached. His mind felt foggy by mid-morning. When his doctor checked, it wasn't arthritis. It was a post-breakfast blood sugar crash, driven by years of hidden sugar habits. Harry switched to steel-cut oats with walnuts and blueberries. And within 2 weeks, his energy returned. His muscles didn't ache as much, and his mornings became something he looked forward to again. You see, sugary cereal doesn't just fail to fuel your day. It steals from your reserves, from your muscles, your brain, your clarity. So here's a gentle shift. Replace boxed cereals with oatmeal or whole grain muesli. Add nuts or seeds for protein and fat. Top with berries instead of flavored sweeteners. Use unsweetened plant milk or full-fat dairy for stability. Let me ask you, when was the last time your breakfast gave you steady energy? Not just a quick spike? Maybe it's time to let go of the sweet start and give your body something it can build from. 2. Fruit juice, the liquid sugar. Mistake it sounds healthy. Orange juice, apple juice, maybe a splash of cranberry, all labeled 100% pure, all tucked neatly beside words like antioxidants, immune support, and natural. But here's what most people don't realize. Juice isn't fruit. It's fruit without the fiber. And without the fiber, sugar hits your bloodstream like a tidal wave. 1 glass of orange juice contains about 21 grams of sugar. That's equivalent to 5 teaspoons. And without the pulp, it digests almost instantly, spiking blood sugar, forcing the pancreas into high gear, and then comes the crash. For seniors whose bodies already manage blood sugar more slowly, this crash isn't just uncomfortable, it's dangerous. Energy plummets, appetite rises, muscle recovery slows, and the inflammation that fuels fatigue and joint pain begins to brew again. Let me share the story of Gloria Thomas. She's 70, a retired nurse from Toledo, Ohio. Every morning, she poured herself a glass of orange juice. It was tradition since childhood. She believed it helped her wake up. But over the past year, Gloria felt weaker. Her joints ached. She had to sit down after breakfast because she felt lightheaded. She thought it was just age, until one day she started tracking her meals. Her nutritionist pointed out the sugar surge, hidden in that healthy glass. Gloria swapped the juice for a smoothie made from spinach, frozen berries, and a scoop of protein powder. The result? Within a week, she felt clearer. Her energy lasted longer. The stiffness began to ease. Fruit juice might offer some vitamins, but it removes the parts your body needs to handle that sugar safely. The fiber, the pulp, the slow-release structure of real food. Instead, here's what you can try. Whole fruits instead of juice. Chew them, don't drink them. Make smoothies with greens, berries, and a protein or fat source. Try infused water like lemon, cucumber, or mint for a gentle start. Or simply have herbal tea with a piece of fruit on the side. Let me ask you, is your glass of juice leaving you energized or emptied out? Because what starts sweet can quietly leave you drained. Have you ever thought something was healthy until your body told you otherwise? Share with us below. What morning habit have you started to question lately? 3. Low-fat yogurt, the protein-poor pitfall. It sits quietly on grocery shelves, promising calcium, probiotics, a light, low-fat way to start your morning. But for many seniors, low-fat yogurt has become a nutritional trap, one that seems healthy, but quietly starves the very muscles you're trying to protect. Let's unpack why. When fat is removed from yogurt, something is usually added in its place: sugar, lots of it. In fact, many fruit-flavored low-fat yogurts contain 12 to 18 grams of added sugar per serving. That's nearly as much as a small dessert. Without fat to slow digestion, and without enough protein to rebuild tissue, what's left is a breakfast that spikes blood sugar, weakens energy, and does little to support muscle recovery. But the problem goes deeper. Healthy fats aren't just extra calories. They help absorb fat-soluble vitamins like D and K, critical for muscle and bone strength. They fuel mitochondria, your cell's engines, and they help regulate hormones that influence appetite and muscle tone. So, when seniors remove fat from their diet, they're not trimming calories. They're cutting away one of the tools the body needs to age well. Let me introduce you to Phyllis Washington, or Phil, as her students used to call her. She's 75, a retired high school teacher from Charlotte. For years, she chose low-fat yogurt for breakfast. It was quick, it was labeled heart-healthy, and it made her feel like she was doing something right. But Phil began to notice something strange. Despite her healthy choices, she felt tired after meals. Her legs ached, her strength seemed to fade, especially on stairs or walks. When she finally worked with a nutritionist, they reviewed her diet. The culprit? Not enough protein, not enough fat, too much sugar. Phil made a simple switch: full-fat Greek yogurt with chia seeds and blueberries. More protein, more stability, no sugar crash. Within 2 weeks, Phil felt her balance improve. Her afternoon slumps disappeared, and for the first time in months, she felt grounded in her body again. So, what can you do? Choose full-fat or whole milk yogurt. Prioritize unsweetened Greek yogurt, higher in protein. Add in nuts, seeds, or fresh fruit for flavor and support. Avoid fruit on the bottom or artificially sweetened varieties. Let me ask you, is your breakfast feeding your muscles or leaving them empty? Because a good start isn't about light, it's about strong. 4. Muffins, the morning treat. That weakens muscles. They're soft, they're sweet. They're sitting quietly beside your coffee. Muffins, especially those blueberry or bran ones, seem like a light, polite way to start the day. But for seniors, they're not breakfast. They're a metabolic ambush. Here's why. Most store-bought or cafe muffins are made with refined white flour, vegetable oil, and 2 types of sugar. They may look small, but they often contain 300 to 450 calories, with little to no protein and almost zero fiber. That means the moment you eat one, you're flooding your bloodstream with fast-burning carbs and no tools to stabilize them. Your blood sugar shoots up. Your insulin follows. And your body, trying to make sense of this chaos, starts doing the one thing it was trained to do: store fat, break down muscle, and prepare for famine. But for you, there is no famine, just another crash. By 10 a.m., let me tell you about Vera Harding. She's 72, a retired nurse from Minneapolis. Every morning, Vera reached for a blueberry muffin, just one, with coffee. It felt reasonable, not heavy, a treat she'd earned after decades of caring for others. But she noticed something shifting. Her legs felt stiff, her energy dropped mid-morning, and her post-walk soreness lingered longer than usual. At first, she blamed aging, but her doctor encouraged her to keep a food journal. That's when she noticed The days she ate a muffin, her energy always dipped, her stiffness always returned. So she tried a new approach: whole grain toast with avocado and a hard-boiled egg. Still easy, still comforting, but now her body responded differently. More energy, less soreness, stronger muscles, clearer mornings. Here's the truth: muffins aren't evil, but they're dessert in disguise. And your muscles, they deserve more. So, what can you eat instead? Whole grain toast with nut butter or avocado, oats with flaxseed and cinnamon, a boiled egg, plus fruit, plus herbal tea, or a small smoothie with greens and protein. Let me ask you, have you ever eaten something light, only to feel heavy and tired hours later? It might not be your age. It might be that your muscles didn't get what they needed to begin with. If you could change just one breakfast habit starting tomorrow, what would it be? Let us know in the comments. You might inspire someone else's new beginning. 4 breakfast foods. Seniors should add 5. Whole grains, the steady fuel. Breakfast doesn't need to be fancy. It just needs to hold you steady. That's where whole grains shine. Unlike their refined cousins, whole grains still carry their fiber, their minerals, and their quiet, stabilizing strength. They digest slowly. They release energy gradually, like adding wood to a calm fire, not pouring gasoline onto a flame. And for seniors, this matters more than ever. After 60, your blood sugar becomes more sensitive. Your digestion slows, and your muscles need a steady stream of fuel, not spikes, not crashes, not hollow carbs. Whole grains deliver that. They give you complex carbohydrates, B vitamins to support nerve and muscle function, and magnesium, which helps regulate blood pressure and glucose. Let me tell you about Clara Martin. She's 78, a retired teacher from Salt Lake City. For most of her life, Clara started her morning with white toast and butter. Simple, familiar, predictable. But over time, she began feeling bloated. Her energy dipped by mid-morning. She found herself nodding off in her favorite chair by 10:30 a.m. After reading about breakfast changes for seniors, Clara made one small shift. She replaced her white toast with steel-cut oats, topped with almond butter, chia seeds, and berries. Within the first week, she noticed something subtle but powerful. Her digestion improved. She didn't crave snacks before lunch. And, perhaps most surprising, her afternoon slump disappeared. It wasn't magic. It was metabolic balance. Whole grains like oats, quinoa, brown rice, and whole wheat contain resistant starch, a type of carbohydrate that feeds healthy gut bacteria and slows digestion. This not only stabilizes blood sugar, it also supports the gut-muscle-brain axis, an emerging link between digestion, strength, and mental clarity. So, how can you bring this steady fuel into your morning? Try overnight oats with cinnamon and walnuts, toasted whole grain bread with avocado or eggs, a small bowl of quinoa with berries and plain yogurt, or brown rice with sautéed greens and sesame oil. Let me ask you, when was the last time your breakfast held you strong, all the way until lunch? Because the best energy doesn't crash, it carries you, and your muscles can feel the difference. 6. Avocados. The recovery? Fat your muscles crave. It's soft, green, creamy, and once considered a fad. But avocados aren't a trend. They're a therapeutic fat, especially for aging muscles. Let's break this down. After age 60, your body's ability to recover from activity slows. Muscle tissue becomes more fragile. Inflammation lingers longer. And the joints need more support than ever. That's where monounsaturated fats, the kind found in avocados, come in. These fats do more than fill you up. They reduce inflammation, improve nutrient absorption, and provide long-lasting energy without the sugar crash. Avocados are also rich in potassium, more than bananas, which helps balance fluids, prevent cramping, and stabilize blood pressure. But the real secret? They help your body absorb key vitamins like A, D, E, and K, which are essential for bone strength, muscle contraction, and tissue repair. So instead of fueling your day with empty carbs, you're giving your muscles what they actually crave: sustainable recovery. Let me tell you about Marty Stevens. She's 74, a retired librarian from Madison, Wisconsin. Marty stayed active. She walked daily, did light yoga, and even helped her neighbor tend a small garden. But in her early 70s, she noticed something shifting. Her legs felt heavy after walking. Her post-exercise soreness lasted longer. She began skipping movement, not because of laziness, but from lingering fatigue. After a session with her nutritionist, she added just one thing: half an avocado on whole grain toast or blended into a smoothie. In less than 2 weeks, Marty noticed less soreness, more energy by late morning, and a calmer digestive system. Her words: "I feel like my breakfast is protecting me, not draining me." That's not an exaggeration. That's biochemistry working in your favor. So how can you bring avocado into your morning? Try spreading half an avocado on whole grain toast, mixing diced avocado into scrambled eggs, adding it to smoothies for creaminess and fat balance, or pairing it with a boiled egg and berries for a balanced plate. Let me ask you, does your breakfast protect your muscles, or just pass through without helping them heal? Because what you eat isn't just fuel, it's your recovery strategy. And sometimes healing begins with something soft, green, and quietly powerful. 7. Eggs. The breakfast muscle builder. They're small, humble, almost ordinary. But eggs might be the most powerful thing you can put on your plate in the morning, especially after 60. You see, as we age, we lose muscle, not because we're lazy, but because our bodies naturally enter a state called sarcopenia, age-related muscle decline. It begins in our 40s but accelerates in our 60s and 70s. And what protects us against it? Protein. Real protein. Not just grams on a label, but a complete amino acid profile that helps the body build, repair, and preserve lean tissue. Eggs provide exactly that. Each egg contains about 6 grams of high-quality protein, plus vitamin D, choline, healthy fats, and B12, all of which support nerve function, brain clarity, and joint flexibility. But the best part? Your body knows how to use it. Eggs are bioavailable, meaning your muscles can absorb and apply their nutrients with almost no waste. Let's talk about Walt Patterson. He's 79, a retired architect from Portland, Oregon. Walt had always been strong, climbed ladders, built garden beds, played with his grandkids. But one winter, he noticed his arms losing tone. His legs didn't lift as easily. He struggled to stand after long drives. He hadn't changed much in his life, except for one thing: his breakfast. Walt had been skipping eggs, assuming they were too much, too heavy, too cholesterol-filled. But after speaking with his doctor, who assured him the cholesterol in eggs was not the enemy, Walt added them back in. 2 eggs, boiled or scrambled, with whole grain toast and greens. 3 weeks later, he felt stronger. He walked longer. He felt present in his body again. His words: "I'm not building muscle like I'm 30, but I'm not watching it disappear either." So, what can you do? Scramble 2 eggs with spinach and onions. Boil a few ahead for grab-and-go mornings. Make a veggie-packed omelet with herbs and olive oil. Pair with berries and avocado for a full-spectrum plate. Let me ask you, are you feeding your muscles before the day asks them to move? Because breakfast isn't just about calories. It's about what your body can rebuild with. And sometimes the strongest healing comes from the simplest source. 8. Berries. Sweetness that heals, not harms. Not all sweetness leads to harm. In fact, some of it protects you. Berries, blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, blackberries are more than just a pretty topping for your oatmeal. They're tiny shields. Each one is loaded with antioxidants, especially compounds called anthocyanins. These natural pigments don't just make berries colorful. They help your body fight inflammation, reduce muscle soreness, and even speed up recovery after activity. That's not marketing. That's cellular science. When you move your body, walk, stretch, garden, your muscles create small amounts of oxidative stress. In youth, your body handles it with ease. But after 60, your natural defenses slow down. That's where berries come in. They neutralize free radicals, unstable molecules that cause damage to muscle fibers, joints, and even brain cells. They help support collagen repair, improve circulation, and reduce the low-grade inflammation that can drain your energy without warning. Let me introduce you to Maggie Ferguson. She's 78, a retired high school teacher from Tucson, Arizona. Maggie loved to garden, but recently she noticed her hands felt stiff after pulling weeds. Her legs were sore the day after pruning bushes. She chalked it up to just getting old. Then her daughter, also a teacher, shared something simple. Try adding blueberries to your breakfast. Skeptical but curious, Maggie began putting a cup of fresh berries on her steel-cut oats each morning. After 2 weeks, something shifted. Her fingers were less stiff. Her legs didn't ache as much after gardening. She felt lighter. And more than that, she felt seen by her own body again. She called it a kindness she could taste. So, what can you do? Add a handful of fresh or frozen berries to oatmeal or Greek yogurt. Blend them into a morning smoothie with spinach and flax. Sprinkle them on whole grain toast with almond butter. Or enjoy them on their own. As a small act of repair, let me ask you, when was the last time your breakfast gave you something that helped you heal? Because sugar can destroy, but nature's sweetness can also rebuild. And these little berries, they remember how to take care of you, even when you've forgotten how to care for yourself. You've been told breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and maybe for years that felt like a cliche. But now, it means something deeper, because after 60, breakfast isn't just about food, it's about protection, about preserving what's still strong and gently restoring what's not. It's the first decision you make for your muscles, for your focus, for the way you carry your body through the hours ahead. And the truth is, many of us were taught the wrong things. Cereal meant comfort, juice meant health, low fat meant discipline. But now, you know different. You've met Harry, Gloria, Phil, Vera, Clara, Marty, Walter, Maggie. People just like you, who shifted one small habit and discovered that tired didn't have to be their default. So here's the real question. Have you been starting your day with fuel or with fog? And if today's been foggy, tomorrow can be different. If this video opens something for you, subscribe gently. We're here to remind you how powerful your first meal can be. Next time, we'll explore the surprising dinner food that's quietly wrecking seniors' sleep. Even though most think it's light, what's one breakfast food you're ready to let go of? And what nourishing upgrade are you curious to try? Your story might just become someone else's turning point.